good, everybody? It is I, Jay, and I'd like to welcome everybody to Phrasing with Jay. And we're going to get into some gaming news. Yeah, this is the truth. I am going back to gaming news and something I used to do way back in the day. And honestly, stepping back in the gaming news has been kind of weird. It's one of those things that I never thought I'd actually get back to talking about because, you know, for a time, I stepped away from video games and I was streaming games at Twitch at one point in time, on Twitch, rather. I was streaming video games on Twitch at one point in time and I was doing a lot of things with it, but, you know, due to life circumstances that changed. But, you know, for whatever reason, you know, video games have always interested me. And I've been playing video games for a long time. But that's not all I'm doing here with this podcast. This podcast is going to be a little different. It's going to be video games. We're going to talk a little bit of news. And I'm going to get into a few other things that I have on my mind. And I hope everybody enjoys the show. We're going to start off with a little gaming news. And the Xbox Developer Direct is going to show off Doom, The Dark Ages, and more things on the 23rd of January. And this is one of those things, when I heard about Doom getting another sequel, I mean, this would be the third. There was Doom, Doom Eternal, and now Doom The Dark Ages. And there's not a lot of information on it. They're going to be premiering it. There's going to be a presentation on the 23rd of January. And, you know, I was looking at some screenshots and things like that, and I go, okay, at the end of it, it's Doom. That's really what it is. It's being developed by id Software, and that is in Texas, I think. Let me just check. Yeah, that's in Texas, and it's interesting. And I think it's interesting because now it's Doom being taken to a place that, honestly, none of us have ever seen before. Like Doom, The Dark Ages. It sounds stupid, kind of, when you think about it. But the deeper you go into it, you go, okay, well, you know what? I think that gamers are going to enjoy Doom The Dark Ages. And the major reason why is because it's another fucking Doom game. I mean, Doom is one of those games that has been around forever. It's crossed generations of gamers, all different ages, all different types of people. And it's one of those things that I go, you know what? It's harmless. It really is. It's one of those things where I go, all right, bet. We get a new Doom, cool. It's going to be in the Dark Ages in medieval times, and they're talking about they're going to visit a surprise location and all this other stuff, and I have no idea what that's going to be, because they're talking about the surprise location in order to show another studio's new game, and I have no idea what that is. Not a fucking clue. They haven't really told anybody, but this is about Doom The Dark Ages. And Doom is a game that I played as a kid a lot. I grew up with Doom. And just to see Doom in the place that it is today is actually kind of awe-inspiring. Because I look at it and I go, are you fucking shitting me? Another Doom game. And I just sit back and I go, fucking wow. Really? And it's not like the Doom games that we got before were bad by any regard. No, they weren't. They were actually fun. I remember the first Doom. I had a lot of fun with it. I played it on my Twitch stream before. And I remember Doom Eternal. I played that on my Twitch stream ad nauseum until I beat it. And phrasing. And it was a fun game. I really I don't remember what it was called, but it's like the Horde mode where you just get to play different waves before you go through the portal, and you get to get more guns, and then you have the bonus rounds. It's just a fun game. And if Doom The Dark Ages is going to be anything similar to Doom and Doom Eternal from id Software, I'm not gonna second guess it. It's one of those things where I go, okay, cool, we got a new Doom. Fuck yeah. Next on the list is Marvel Rivals is going to be, quote unquote, clamping down on mods with the Season 1's arrival. And this is from a report from IGN. And there's been a process added called asset hash checking. And according to Marvel Rivals, it's their way of checking if the assets are legitimate or not. So what that means in layman's terms is that unauthorized user mods, such as ones that turn Iron Man into Vegeta, or the one that gives, that they're noting here, the Guardians of the Galaxy Mantis makes her kind of gothy, it's no longer going to be valid. And that was going to happen. It really was. I mean, NetEase is telling people, don't do it. It's unauthorized. They're literally talking about it, how, hey, look, you're going to get banned. And I go, okay, well, you know what, NetEase, fine, I guess. Of course, as somebody who's played video games for a long time, I always go, what's the harm? I mean, really, what's the fucking harm in having people and having gamers go through the effort of modding characters and and it's not like they're affecting anything gameplay wise. They're just affecting what they look like. I don't understand for the life of me why that's such a bad thing. The only reason I can really think why it would be considered a little bit of a no-no is mainly due to the fact that it's with Iron Man being transformed into Vegeta. I mean, there is an intellectual property gray area you're kind of entering into, because I don't know if NetEase has those agreements with these other companies. They probably don't, most likely. So it makes all the sense in the world why it wouldn't be legitimate. Does it suck for gamers? Absolutely, it sucks. It's fucking stupid. I mean, even someone like me goes, dude, just let gamers play the guy. Dude, it's skins. They're just changing a physical appearance. They're not changing the game itself. Nothing's getting buffed or nerfed or anything like that. It's just character skins. And it's just mods. I mean, mods are part of gaming. And the companies who make these things, they know that. So to see this behavior, I go, okay, I get it, but I don't have to agree with it. I just think it's fucking stupid. I'm pretty sure that NetEase could figure out a way to allow these things to happen with Marvel Rivals, but for the time being, that doesn't seem to be the case, and that sucks. It really just sucks. It's not necessarily bad news. It's the type of news that you go, okay, well, we kind of knew this was going to happen. It was a matter of time type of thing. Assassin's Creed Shadows has been delayed again, and this time it's been delayed up until March 2025. And look, Ubisoft had announced that Assassin's Creed Shadows delay was going to happen. And it was, I believe it was on Twitter or X, and it's going to be delayed until March 20th. And it was previously set to release on Valentine's Day, and then it was originally slated for November 2024 when it was first revealed to the world, and gamers were all happy, and then some of them were kind of indifferent. And look, Ubisoft has been a shit show lately. It just has. It's been a fucking pain in the ass. I mean, what was it? They had XDefiant shut down. They've had 2 additional studios close at Ubisoft. So it's just clearly been a nightmare for them. And then it was Star Wars Outlaws didn't sell real well, and that underperformed. And I mean, it kind of makes sense why Star Wars Outlaws underperformed, because Star Wars, Jesus Christ, I'm not even a fan of Star Wars, and I'm going, ooh, that property has seen better days. What was that shit? The Acolyte? Oh, man, was that getting a lot of fucking flack. And I haven't watched it, so I can't really comment on that. But from what I have heard, it gives me no interest to go watch the material itself. It really doesn't. I mean, God damn it, I'm still stuck having to watch, I think, I was in my Discord, 50 Shades of J. Go check it out if you want. I'll post a link in the description. And my people were having me write down, I think I wrote down about 15 different animes that I got to watch and talk about. And oh my God, that's going to keep me busy for the next, I don't know, 3 years. So, but this isn't really about anime or stuff I'm doing in Discord. This is about Assassin's Creed and Shadows. And the reason that Ubisoft has said that they're delaying Shadows is to implement valuable feedback from the game's community and to ensure an even more ambitious and engaging day one experience, and yada, 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 yada. And we know why this is actually happening. This really comes down to Yasuke, however the fuck do you say it? I don't know. People are gonna flame me for that. Whatever, go ahead. And look, I understand why people are a little up in arms about the co-protagonist, Yasuki, whatever. And people are upset that it was historically inaccurate and disrespectful to historical accuracy. But it's a video game. At the end of the day, Ubisoft has always talked about how it's not always going to be historically accurate. There's a part where I almost can't get behind gamers to a certain extent on this. Yes, I understand that historical accuracy is important. It is, but this is also a video game. If you want historical accuracy, go read a history book. And even the history book is going to be slightly inaccurate. The more time that passes, the more inaccuracies that you're going to find in history. I mean, in 100 years from now, people will know about 2025, but they really won't know what happened in 2025. They're just going to have the footnotes. They're going to have some historical figures, some celebrities and all that kind of stuff, and everything else is going to get lost in the wash. It's just what happens when so much time passes over into the next future centuries, into the next generations. Like, things get lost in translation, and that's just what happens. And I don't know if I fully agree that the historical inaccuracy and all that kind of stuff, or that it's or Yasuki or whatever how you say it, is racist or anything like that. Look, I'm an Asian guy, and I look at Assassin's Creed and I go, it's Assassin's Creed. Not everything's going to be accurate. And then I go, it's a fucking video game. Of course it's going to be partially inaccurate. The major reason why Ubisoft is delaying this game is because Ubisoft is in a shit show right now. And they're really on the back end. And they need to make sure that Assassin's Creed Shadows, even if it isn't the greatest game out there, it has to sell well. So I know what they're going to do is they're probably going to maybe come out with an announcement and make some adjustments. I don't think they can do anything about the co-protagonist. I really don't. I mean, it's not like they can go back into the game and completely redevelop one of the game's playable protagonists. I mean, I know that Yasuki, or however you say it, is a real-life historical figure, but it has been noted and cited on various websites across the board that there's a lot of debate surrounding whether or not he was actually a samurai. And then we have gamers that are pissed off about it. And this is what I mean by the fucking annoyances of the historical inaccuracy stuff. Because I go, it's a video game. Of course, some of these things are going to be inaccurate. Some of these things should just be taken as they are. I mean, I think at the end of this, as long as the game is entertaining and gamers like it, you still get to assassinate people. You still get to sneak around. You still get to hide in crowds and do whatever you want to do in the Assassin's Creed game. You know what? As long as the parkour is good, that's the biggest part for me. If I play Assassin's Creed Shadows and the parkour is terrible, I'm going to hate the fucking game. That's just the reality. Because I go, it's Assassin's Creed. All we need as gamers who've played Assassin's Creed, I've been playing Assassin's Creed a long time. I played the first Assassin's Creed, and I think one of my favorites is Black Flag, but even then, that's weird because that's Assassin's Creed when it's like not even Assassin's Creed. It's just pirates. Like, arr. It's just pirates. And I'm going, okay, as long as Assassin's Creed Samurai Edition is fun, well, then it's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. Now, I know what everybody was talking about with the Assassin's Creed Shadows concept art that pissed off everybody with the flag. That they used, I believe, I cannot pronounce this for the life of me, so I'm going to butcher it. It's Sekigarahara Tepotai, or Rifle Corps, and they had asked Ubisoft to take the concept art images that uses its flag out of the book. And if it's already printed, I don't know how that's going to get taken out. But after that original story posted, Ubisoft did say that the groups whose flag was featured in Assassin's Creed Shadows concept art has called for Ubisoft to remove the flag from the collector's editions art book, and they're not even sure if it's possible because it's one of those things where it's no longer going to appear in the concept art, but the art itself is going to remain printed as part of a physical book included with the game's collector's edition. And that's really mainly because it's already printed. There's not a lot you can do unless you want to do a bunch of recalls, and I just don't see Ubisoft doing that. What I do see is that this is make or break time for Ubisoft because Ubisoft's been going through a lot of shit like I've been talking about before, same with various other channels and YouTubers and news sites. It's really weird to see Ubisoft go through this because this is Assassin's Creed is Ubisoft's Michael Jordan. This is their number one game, and to see their game fall from such prominence to the place that it's at now, I could only imagine being an employee at Ubisoft and being kind of worried if you're going to get fucking fired. And that's the thing that I really don't like about all this. I really hope that Ubisoft can pull it together and Assassin's Creed Shadows goes off without a hitch as much as possible, and that people keep their jobs because, this economy's crazy now, and money is, everything's getting more expensive, and people aren't getting paid enough all across the board. Good God, I could talk about the VA shit all day, and just, game developers and how much they get shit on a constant basis, on crunch time that we talked about. Oh my God, it's been over 10 years. 10 years, and that stuff still happens. I just really hope Ubisoft can pull it together and this game is good, because if it's not, dude, it's rip Ubisoft. Rest in peace. And I don't want that to happen. Ubisoft's been around for so long. I mean, they're responsible for Prince of Persia and all these other games that I had a lot of love with. I had a lot of love for growing up, and I grew up playing Assassin's Creed, and I don't want to see this company die. I don't want to see it get sold to somebody else or to a different company or some big corporate entity that's not going to give a fuck about it. It's not a good place for them. I would really just like for Ubisoft to, like I said before, I want Ubisoft to figure it out and have Assassin's Creed Shadows go off without a hitch. And hopefully, I don't know if Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to save Ubisoft, but I really do hope that at least it could be the step in the right direction that the company needs to rebound and hopefully win back the favor of gamers. Because right now, it is just not looking good. What do you know about Carmen Sandiego? All I remember about Carmen Sandiego is a live action television show that was on in the 90s. There was an animated show that was around too for a certain period of time. I don't remember exactly when. I remember some games being released on it. I remember some computer games way back in the day, back when IBM was worth a shit. Oh my goodness. And that's all I really know about Carmen Sandiego. But it was one of those things where it was Carmen. And Carmen Sandiego was one of the world's most renowned criminals. And she'd always be stealing shit and leaving clues for you to kind of decipher and follow. And the reason I'm bringing up Carmen Sandiego is because the Carmen Sandiego reboot has finally gotten a release date. And the reason I'm talking about this is because despite me not knowing that much about Carmen Sandiego, because it's been a long time since I've had to think about it, I still think that it's important for Carmen Sandiego to be out in video games. And it is a really good thing that it's getting a reboot. Now, I think from what I was reading, Carmen Sandiego is going to arrive on Android and iOS via Netflix Games on January 28th. And then it's going to launch for PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and the Nintendo Switch on March 4th. So there's going to be a little bit of delay. And for whatever reason, I actually see Carmen Sandiego doing better on Android and iOS platforms than I do see it being on PlayStation, Xbox, and then maybe the Nintendo Switch might get a little love. Maybe the PC might get a little love, but I don't think gamers across the board, unless they're younger and their parents get it for them. I think this is one of those games where grandma who doesn't know anything about video games, walks into a GameStop and goes, "Oh well, my son likes video games. Which one should I get for Johnny? He's 8 years old." And then the GameStop employee goes, Carmen Sandiego." And then poor little Johnny, he wanted Grand Theft Auto fucking 5, and then he gets Carmen Sandiego on March 4th. Oh, poor Johnny. But in addition to this digital launch, there's going to be a 40th anniversary physical edition that's going to be made available through Amazon and other retailers around late April. And those retailers include GameStop, Best Buy, Target, and Walmart. And I don't know if anybody's going to genuinely be interested in a physical edition or a 40th anniversary special edition, physical edition of Carmen Sandiego, the reboot. But the fact that it's even out, the fact that Carmen Sandiego is even being talked about to this day is kind of astounding. I thought Carmen Sandiego was dead in the water for decades. I had no idea this game even came out. I had no idea it was being developed. And a little information about this Carmen Sandiego reboot is in this one, this new reboot game of Carmen Sandiego is going to be a vigilante this time. And according to Gameloft, she's going to steal from thieves to protect the world's treasures instead of being a thief. And this is kind of historical in the sense that this is the first game in any Carmen Sandiego game where you get to play as Carmen Sandiego herself. Because before, back in the day, I say back in the day, and oh my God, is it really that long? I feel so fucking old. Oh, sorry, my chair's popping. But back in the day, you didn't get to do that. Back in the day, you were playing as somebody else who was hunting Carmen Sandiego. Now, this time, Carmen Sandiego was once head of the criminal organization Vile, and now Carmen Sandiego is fighting that organization. And she's going to be using the gadgets and all that type of stuff to track down the Vile syndicates and bring them to what? Justice. That's weird. It's so weird to see such a flip. I guess they're kind of trying to make Carmen Sandiego an unmasked, red, trench-coated, red hat-wearing Batwoman, whatever. It's weird. It's a weird fucking gimmick. But Gameloft is talking about they're going to have a 3D world with puzzle-solving mechanics, real-world locations, and the classic gameplay of tracking down suspects and solving cases from the original Carmen Sandiego games. And they're also talking about, Gameloft is talking about how this game's going to offer a fresh and immersive experience, blah-de-blah-de-blah, for longtime fans and newcomers. I don't know. I really don't know if it's actually going to do that. All I can say is the fact that Carmen Sandiego is even getting a reboot in general is kind of astounding. Carmen Sandiego is like a legacy property. It's just one of those properties that have been around for so long. It's gone through so many different iterations, and I honestly kind of want to see it. I don't know if I want to play it, but I do want to see what they end up doing, because I have looked at some gameplay, and they have a grappling hook. They actually have a grappling hook where Carmen Sandiego shoots the grappling hook and she just grapples and repels all the way. Not repel, but she shoots the grappling hook and she just pulls her fucking ass all the way. She has like a Batman grappling gun. It's kind of cool. I don't know how well that's going to translate into long-term gameplay cycles, but hey, you know what? It's different. It is different. So maybe that's enough, but I definitely cannot see older gamers picking this up. I think this is a demographic for younger kids. And hey, look, if the kids like the game and they learn some things, that's fine. It really is. I mean, this is probably the most innocent of innocent games that you could find on the fucking market. It's true. But good luck to you, Carmen Sandiego. I really hope you do well. I hope you sell enough to make your money back. Because god damn it, if you don't, then I don't think we'll ever see another Carmen Sandiego game again. Unless 10 years go by and somebody goes, we can make a Carmen Sandiego game. And then everybody's going to go, no, don't. We tried. Do you remember the reboot? Everybody goes, yeah, it was great. And then everybody goes, no one thought it was great. I hope it is okay, though. When I was looking at the gameplay before I move on, it looked smooth in gameplay style. Now, that's obviously watching footage and not playing it myself, but it looks smooth enough to where it didn't just look like a stupid cash grab and it was going to be just garbage juice. No, it looked like it was going to be okay. And if it's a puzzle solving game with, real world locations and you're tracking down suspects and solving cases, ooh, that rhymed a little bit. That was cool. I mean, Carmen Sandiego is basically turned into Batman, and I don't actually have a problem with that. I think it's kind of funny. I think it's like a G-rated Batman that kids can enjoy. That's cool. In other news, Krafton is spending a enormous amount of money to add generative AI players into PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and other games that they own. And this is one of those things where I go, oh, dear fucking God. I am so sick of hearing about AI being introduced into everything. I don't like it. I've never liked it. It just seems stupid. It seems like a waste of time. I mean, for God's sakes, I remember reading sometime last month, just flipping through gaming news periodically. Even Ken Levine was talking about how he's not impressed with generative AI. And the reason I actually agree with the guy is because he was talking about how it could perform mundane tasks related to coding and other technical aspects of game development. But this is the part I agree with the most. Now listen, it wasn't suitable to be used for creative purposes. And I very much agree with that. I don't know why Krafton is spending all this money to get CPCs or co-playable characters. And what their goal is they're stating that CPCs or co-playable characters have the potential to interact with players in deeper ways than traditional NPCs. And they're also citing that's because CPCs are equipped with the ability to understand and cooperate with users. And they also go on saying CPCs will understand and respond to game situations in a human-like manner. And if you've ever played a game of PUBG, that's not a good sign. No, absolutely not. I think it's stupid. I think this is a terrible idea. I think Krafton should just drop this generative AI bullshit. If you're going to use AI, put it into something like good old Kenny Boy was saying. Put it into coding. Put it into these mundane tasks that's going to save your developers time instead of trying to create more lifelike NPCs. Just what's wrong with traditional NPCs? Nothing. There's nothing wrong with them. This is trying to fix something that isn't broken. It really is. I mean, do we really want NPCs or CPCs behaving like actual players? No, I don't think we do. I think what we want is players in PUBG to kill the shit out of each other. And if you have some NPCs, you can kill them too. We don't need this company, fucking Krafton, putting all this money into adding generative AI and all this shit. To me, I don't see it going well. I just don't. I don't have any faith in it. And I would really like to know if anybody who does play PUBG, send me a message and let me know how it turns out, because I don't think I will be revisiting this. I really don't. When I see generative AI or something like this being added to PUBG or other games, it makes me not want to play them. It really does, because I go, okay, they're just hopping on the train. They're just riding a gimmick, and it's not going to go well. I just don't see it. I think it's just going to be a money sink. I don't think Krafton is going to get everything they want out of what they're spending in order to add these CPCs into PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I just don't. Now, in other news relating to Krafton, and this one I'm bringing up because of one specific reason. I'm bringing this up because Krafton and Starbreeze fucking Studios, yes, the Payday 2 people, have announced a PlayerUnknown's Battleground crossover. And I was thinking to myself, I laughed when I read this because I went, okay, so are you trying to get something going for Payday 3? Because let's be real, Payday, the heist came out and everybody liked it for the most part. Payday's whatever. The first one's just kind of it's meh. It's okay. It's fun if you want to go back and revisit old memories, but it's really not the best version of it. Payday 2, everybody knows, who knows me, knows I love Payday 2. I think it's one of the best FPSs that I've ever played. I love Payday 2. And maybe it's just because I love going in and robbing banks and throwing dead bodies in duffel bags or body bags onto the bank sign and having my little chicken nugget rotisserie dinner cooker. Yes, anybody who's seen me play understands what I mean. But you had Payday the Heist come out, and that was fine for the most part, whatever. And then Payday 2 came out, blew everybody out the water. It's fun. Payday 2 is fucking fun. It's fun. The only thing that I don't like about Payday 2 was the disconnects, the desyncing. That's it. That's literally it. Everything else I like. I'm a little fishy about Payday 2 and its microtransactions, but you know what? They went back and corrected it. Now they give everybody safes and you can unlock everything, so it's not even a big deal anymore. And that was from the Black Market update. Oh my God, I can't even think of how long ago that happened. But Payday 3, that's where we run into a problem, because Payday 3 is terrible. It sucks. It just sucks. I mean, dude, if you play Payday 2 and you switch over to Payday 3, Payday 3 is just a better looking version of the first Payday the Heist. And that's not a good thing. They went the completely wrong direction with Payday 3. I mean, for God's sakes, Payday 3 was so bad, its director even stepped down. And that's because the game had what? Poor performance. And it also led to the Starbreeze CEO quitting back in like March or something like that. I think it was around that time. It was last spring. Fucking ridiculous. Payday 3 was absolutely terrible. And why am I bashing on Payday 3 so bad is because I think that's the only reason that Starbreeze is working with Krafton. Now, there was an official announcement on the Starbreeze website, and the Starbreeze Studios is talking about the crossover and is saying it's increasing the visibility and the reach of the Payday franchise. And Starbreeze aims to do so by bringing the heisting experience to a broader audience through Players Unknown Battlegrounds. How does that make any sense? That makes zero sense. Payday is a game about going into a map, robbing diamonds, robbing banks, shooting cops, all that fun stuff, committing crime. You're literally committing crime. You're a heister. Players Unknown Battlegrounds is a battle royale shooter. The two games don't even mix together well. I don't know how they are going to mix those two together and then bring more attention over to Payday 3. And it wouldn't even help the game anyway. Say this goes live, because it will. It's absolutely going to go live. And you have these people who go, oh, I want to check out Payday 3. They're going to play Payday 3. And look, man, you can't polish a turd and it not still be a turd. Payday 3 is terrible. And people are only going to... What? What's going to happen? Players Unknown Battlegrounds, players are going to see the Payday thing, and most of them might not even care. I'm expecting most people not to give a shit, or they're probably going to do this. Oh, Payday. Oh, didn't they just release a game that was shitty? Because that's probably all they're going to remember. I don't think this is going to help anything. If anything, it's going to make Payday 3 look worse. Because if Starbreeze Studios wants to bring Payday 3 or whatever to broader audiences through Player Unknown Battlegrounds or PUBG, dude, don't send them to Payday 3. Just send their asses back to Payday 2 and then let everybody play the good version of Payday, because it's not going to be Payday 3. I don't know why they're doing this. I really don't. The collaboration doesn't make any sense. I don't know how this is going to help either studio. I really don't. I wish I did, but I can't make sense of this. It just seems like a bad idea altogether. Splash Damage has announced that their upcoming online multiplayer action game, Transformers Reactivate, has been canceled, and that a number of roles at the studio may now be at risk of redundancy. And this was a message over X. Splash Damage was talking about how they're canceling Transformers Reactive, and the studio is scaling down to refocus its efforts onto other projects, which is why some of the staff might lose their jobs. That sucks. I hate that shit. I've always hated this stuff. I've always fucking hated to read when game developers or other staff members lose their jobs, because, dude, people are losing their jobs. at the end of the day, those are real people. And those people aren't going to be able to feed their families now. Money's got to come in from somewhere, and bills keep piling up, even if the money doesn't come in anymore. Excuse me. That's just what it is. Now, Splash Damage didn't specify what staff members or what departments are really at risk for people losing their jobs, but it's disappointing all around. And it really sucks, man. It really sucks because Splash Damage had one announcement during the Game Awards opening ceremony in 2022. And other than talking about Reactive saying that it would be a online focused action game for 1 to 4 players, it would come to PC and consoles, they were pretty much silent on it. And it sucks, man. It really does. Because I go, God fucking damn it. Transformers was a game series that I actually liked. And this was Transformers War for Cybertron and Transformers like Fight for Cybertron, whatever it was called. It was a third-person shooter, and those were good. Those were really good. They had another one that came out. I don't remember what it was called, but it really wasn't that entertaining. It wasn't fun. It wasn't as fun as the other two, because the other two were, not Fight for Cybertron. It was War of Cybertron, like Fall of Cybertron or whatever it was called. And those are fun. They had a really good multiplayer system. I loved being able to be one of the plane transformers and just customize my character and switch my loadout to whatever I wanted. I loved the sniper rifle. I loved even the basic autocannon or the riot cannon. I used to love jumping in the air and firing that riot cannon at everybody. And I would always aim at their feet because splash damage is a fucking thing in that game. And it would just melt people, and it was so much fun. So I'm one of those people who would have loved to revisit Transformers, but the last game that came out was like some stupid action racing roguelite, Transformers Galactic Trials. And that's just, no. That's not what Transformers is. Transformers is a game where you want gamers or Transformers fans or just gamers in general want to transform into the vehicle version, shoot things, transform into the robot version, shoot things, melee things, and like you want the war between Autobots and Decepticons. It's not that hard. Transformers is one of those game series that you kind of think that not even developers necessarily, well, probably in this case, developers and publishers, they would just, whoever's responsible for making the game, they should just know. They should just know instinctively that what do Transformers want? Autobots versus Decepticons. That's it. You guys can't see what I'm doing, but I'm doing like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm doing like, are you serious face? That's what I'm doing right now. You know, I got an idea. Okay, I got an idea. If you want to make a successful Transformers game, just make Transformers Beast Wars. And make it just like a combination of Transformers War for Cybertron or Fall of Cybertron. Just mix those two together. Make a game called Transformers Beast Wars. Get all the original voice cast, if they're still alive, to come back and voice over those characters. Everybody will buy it. I guarantee you everybody would buy it. Because Transformers Beast Wars was a great series. It was fun. It was campy. Megatron, oh my Jesus. Yes. No. Scorponok, terrorize. It was so funny. It was funny. It was entertaining. And you could have a good campaign. And if you made the multiplayer component like War of Cybertron or Fall of Cybertron, you're fine. You would honestly be fine. That game would absolutely make its money back in development costs and probably make a little extra. See, there, solved your problem. Don't release shit like Transformers Galactic Trials. That's fucking ridiculous. And it's really sad. It's really sad that someone like me, who isn't even a Transformers movie fan, or I'm not a Bayformers fan, I'm not a fucking Transformers Gen 1 fan, I don't know shit about that. All I really watched as a kid growing up was Transformers Beast Wars. And then in my late 20s and stuff like that, I was playing the Transformers games that came out on the previous generations of consoles. And I loved those games. They were fun. And that's what this comes down to. It comes down to games are supposed to be fun. and to know that we don't know, obviously. But the fact that this was going to be an online-focused action game for 1 to 4 players, it would come to PC and consoles before it was canceled, basically. We could have gotten that. We really could have gotten that. And now it's unfortunate that we never will. I'm actually pretty sad about that. But hey, what are you going to do? It looks like us Transformers fans of the games and the franchise in itself, we're going to have to wait till somebody gets their heads together and just makes the concept that I talked about today, because that would be a good game. That would sell. That would make money. At the very least, it would make fans go, oh yeah, they made a game about Beast Wars. That one was pretty good. And people would buy it. I hope. At least I hope my idea was good. Maybe it wasn't, but you know what I'm getting at. I'm just simply saying, like I said earlier, that it is not that difficult to make a good Transformers game. You just need to make it about Autobots versus Decepticons, and the story will come together naturally. There is enough source material in the world right now where you could cobble together a storyline that would work for a video game. There just is. So apparently Dauntless is in a little bit of shit, or shall I say Phoenix Labs. And Phoenix Labs was Phoenix Labs was recently acquired by a crypto company. So it makes no surprise that they're going to implement a lot of monetization models and a batch of other changes that really, really pissed off their gamers and their fans. And the Dauntless developers have actually apologized for the Awakening update, and they promise to make immediate adjustments. Those who are interested, Phoenix Labs was talking about how they apologize and they hear the players' frustration, and they apologize to players who felt that their time, effort, and trust were overlooked. Oh, Jesus Christ, here we go again. Game developers doing fucking bullshit, and then they're trying to backpedal. Ridiculous. Phoenix Labs was talking about how the goals for Awakening were ambitious, quote unquote. And I don't think they mean ambitious. I think they mean insidious, because they have basically stripped away everything, made everything more difficult, removed a ton of crafting stuff that players really relied on and loved, and implemented paywalls, because of course they did. It's ran by a crypto company now. What more do you fucking expect? And for players who are interested, and Phoenix Labs has a way that they think they're going to regain some respect from their players of lost progress and investment, which I doubt, but they're going to be awarding 300,000 RAMs and 5,000 combat merits to returning players, and 500 peerless Aetheryte based on your weapon crafting in the pre-Awakening game. Also, all game modes are going to be unlocked from the jump for returning players in an upcoming update, so you won't have to complete the new quest line to unlock your favorite mode. Unfortunately for Dauntless and Phoenix Labs, I just think this is too little too late. I don't see gamers forgiving Phoenix Labs too quickly. I mean, I'm not just talking about the negative review bombing. I'm just talking about it from the fact of, if a game company has a game that people, for the majority, liked playing, and then they change so drastically with monetization models, they fucked up progression, and then there's numerous technical issues because of this update. This is almost as bad as the Payday 2 Black Market update. The only difference is Starbreeze corrected it in a way that really was lucky for them, because there was a huge opportunity. They could have lost a shitload of players, and they did for a while. They really did. It took a long time. Starbreeze Studios was lucky that Payday 2 was such a good game. Dauntless is basically the free-to-play version of Monster Hunter, but isn't Monster Hunter free-to-play now? I could be wrong about that, but dude, there's tons of people playing Monster Hunter now, and realistically, Dauntless just seems like the Kmart GoBot version of what Monster Hunter is. Now, I could be wrong. I've only played Dauntless a couple of times, and I really wasn't interested in it to begin with, but I think it's relevant to bring this stuff up, especially when a company fucks up this bad, mainly because it has to be addressed. It really does. Like, you have to fucking talk about these things. And I'm not just talking about bad things. I was talking about good things earlier, but this is really bad. This is a great example of if you make a game and you rack up more than 4 million players in your opening week, don't fuck up that badly. Now, I know the numbers of players have gone down, but I mean, the Awakening update is really starting to drive a nail into the coffin on the negative reviews and just the nail in the coffin for Dauntless in itself. I'm not saying Dauntless is going to die by any means. It's just, I don't see gamers going back to Dauntless. I think in the age that we live in today, gamers are going to move on to different games because it's not like there isn't other games that gamers can play that they'd rather spend their time doing rather than waiting for the developers of Dauntless to fix things. I don't think it's going to happen. I see Dauntless's future remaining kind of up in the air, and I don't know what's going to happen to him. It can't be good. I don't think it's going to go the way of Evolve, but I'm pretty sure their numbers are going to stay down for quite a while before we see them spike back up. It's only going to get worse before it gets better in this situation. And it's really Phoenix Labs' fault. It was their choice to do this. I mean, they made their bed. Now it's time to lie in it. And it sucks, but it's just a fact of life. If you do something this bad that fucking pisses off your players, you're not going to get them back. It's like when a restaurant makes shitty food. If you're a restaurant and you have food that people like, and then you change everything and it turns into a restaurant that people don't like, people are going to answer with what? They're going to look at you and go, oh yeah, we like it, it's fine. But then they're not coming back. They're going to answer with their wallets. And with Dauntless trying to fucking penny pinch from everybody in their player base, those gamers are going to take their money and put it to some other game. And it's all Phoenix Labs' fault. I hope they can recover. I don't want to see people lose their jobs, but I don't have a lot of faith in this one. I just don't. Hideo Kojima's in the news again, and he's talking about how some of his upcoming projects, OD and Physint, I think that's how you say it. I think it's Physint. Sorry, I'm having to clear my throat a lot today. Is going to be heavily impacted by the voice acting strikes. And this doesn't surprise me. Voice acting has been something that's been very close to me as a voice actor, and I've done video games, and some of them are on Steam. I'm working on Europa. I did my voice lines for that game, and look, it's one of those things where if you are a member of SAG and you don't want your voice used for artificial intelligence, and mocap artists don't want their, motion captures used for artificial intelligence, that's perfectly fine. They should have a right to that. And, I really do agree with these SAG after strikes because it's fucked up, man. You're putting people out of work, and you can't take the human out of the voice acting, because the second you let artificial intelligence do voice acting and do mocap work and all this other kind of stuff, and to other extensions of what the SAG after strikes are about, it's going to damage things like Kojima Productions and their games OD and Physint. It just is. So it's one of those things to where I go, Hideo Kojima talking about his upcoming projects being heavily impacted by the strikes it's not only going to be him. It's going to be any production that is not reaching an agreement with the use of generative AI. Now, some companies have embraced it. Other companies have not embraced it. And that's good for voice actors, mocap artists, and a lot of other people in the video game industry. I look at it like this. Unfortunately, I think what SAG is doing is, what the voice actors and the mocap people and all the people involved with the SAG after strike, I think it's the right direction to go. However, I honestly believe that it's only a matter of time before voice acting, mocap, and all these things are eventually going to be using generative AI more than we want. Unfortunately, I just don't see companies who at the end of the day, they're trying to make money and they're trying to cut costs wherever they can. With AI voices and AI mocap and that type of shit, you don't got to pay people as much. You can do it a lot quicker. Now, the results are going to be kind of finicky and less human, but we're in a day and age in society where human beings aren't really taken at face value anymore. And what I mean by that is human, not face value. I mean, human beings just really aren't valued in the same way that they used to be. And I have a bad feeling about this with the generative AI. I was talking about it earlier with Krafton and PUBG, and then we were talking about the Starbreeze thing, but just in general, I don't have a good feeling about it. I don't think it ends well for voice actors, for anybody that could have their job affected by generative AI. Because if they're not willing, companies specifically, if they're not willing to write an agreement out, because I've passed projects that were non-union projects specifically because they used artificial intelligence. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think it sets a bad precedent, because if I sign on to a project that uses artificial intelligence of pretty much any type, that's like me subconsciously saying that it's okay to use, which I don't agree with. Because if I'm okay with some of it, next thing you know, I'm out of a job. My fellow voice actors and my colleagues are out of jobs, and I don't want that for them. So I'm hard-nosed, fuck off AI. Use artificial intelligence where it needs to be used in mundane coding tasks and shit that doesn't affect the creative works. Now, Kojima was talking about in the message that he wrote that he hopes that Kojima Productions and himself can resume next year, which means pretty much everything for OD or Physint has, filming, capture processes, casting. It hasn't been restarted yet. And it sucks. It really does, because if there's one reason why I'm a little upset about the Kojima deal, is because despite Kojima having his falling out with Konami and all that kind of stuff that happened years ago, and Death Stranding basically being a giant walking simulator, he's one of those developers that I do not want to lose. He's a developer and he's a game creator that I always want to keep creating games, because for better or worse, we're never going to get another Hideo Kojima. We never will. There's only one of him. He is a once-in-a-lifetime type of personality. And the games he makes are uniquely him. And that's something that I do not want to lose. I don't want his upcoming projects to be delayed anymore that they have to. I understand why there's going to be voice actors striking and the SAG-AFTRA things going on, but I just don't want that dude's games being any more delayed than they have to be. Because like I said a second ago, there's only one Hideo. We're never going to get another one. And before this dude dies, I want this dude to make as many games as he possibly can. Because for better or worse, Hideo Kojima's games have always been identifiably unique. He always explores interesting ideas and goes into concepts that other video games do not go into. They don't even touch it. And in a world full of Call of Duty and other bullshit that's out there, Battlefield and rinse and repeat style games, we are lucky to have a Hideo Kojima in the gaming industry. We really are. Now, I referenced Call of Duty earlier on today, and apparently a court document was filed by Activision, and it revealed just how big and insane the budgets are for this particular FPS. And it's kind of fucking shocking. Okay, so according to these numbers, in a report by GameFile, Stephen Totilo, I think that's how you say it, he points to a court filing in which Activision's Patrick Kelly outlines the budgets for 3 Call of Duty games, mainly Black Ops 3, Modern Warfare Reboot, and Black Ops Cold War. And when you hear these numbers, you're going to go, oh my fucking God. Because that's exactly what I said when I first read this, okay? So Black Ops 3 cost Activision more than $450 million to make across its entire lifespan. Modern Warfare cost $640 million. $640 million. Pardon my fucking flubs. It's just how staggered I am by this information. And believe this, Black Ops Cold War cost them $700 million. That's insane. It's completely mind-boggling to know that. Now, mind you, these are the developmental costs for the game's entire life cycles, and not just the initial cost to make them. However, if you think about it, the fact that Call of Duty games are now costing up anywhere from $450 million across its entire lifespan to $700 million across its lifespan, one's got to think, then why does it play the exact same? How come Call of Duty is still just Call of Duty? I'll tell you why. Because Activision has figured out the way to make their money back. Call of Duty is a game that started off really fantastic, and now it's a game that focuses on microtransactions and cosmetic bullshit and gun skins and all this stuff. I mean, to me, unless they're making money off of it, I don't really see, or they're a hardcore fan. I'll take that back. I mean, unless they're making money off it, like a YouTube channel or a Twitch streamer, or they're just a hardcore fan, a diehard of the Call of Duty franchise, I don't see gamers of my age still playing it. I think gamers of my age, which is older, they've moved on to other things. I think this is a game for teenagers, for kids, for young adults, for people in their 20s maybe, is probably about as old as they get, maybe 30s, a couple million, clearly. It's just one of those things where I go, Jesus Christ, man. Holy fuck, is that a lot of money? Now, I was doing some math because I was trying to figure out if these games are costing anywhere from $450 million to $700 million to make across its entire lifespan, well, how much are they actually making? And what I did is I got the calculator out and I went, okay, let's do some figures. If we base the game price at $60 in United States currency, and, I just lost a goddamn page. Where was it? If we base the price as $60 per copy, Black Ops 3 sold 43 million copies. Now it's $60 a copy. The profit alone that Activision would have made is potentially $2.58 billion with a B dollars. Activision is absolutely recouping their costs for these games. So it makes it's not going to change their behavior. But it's just one of those things that I go, oh my fucking God. Call of Duty's at a point now to where it's too big to fail. I mean, as far as video games go, Call of Duty is the fucking Simpsons. If we're going to put it into a television analogy, like it's too big to fail. It's had its heyday, it's had its golden era, and now it's at a point to where it's just so big, and no matter what happens, there's always going to be a core demographic of gamers who go out and buy it. I'm astounded. I'm genuinely astounded by this. It's too big to die. It's never going to go away. And I'm going, the amount of fucking money that they're making is completely baffling. And I'm not saying it's baffling and it's unrealistic or I can't understand it. Of course I can. I just go, wow. I've been playing Call of Duty since I think the first one when I was a kid. I mean, I grew up with Call of Duty. So to see Call of Duty and Activision, I've been playing Activision. I've grown up with Activision too, and Call of Duty. To see them at this height that they are now, it's just, I mean, like, dude, look at the progress they've made. It's fucking staggering. So the reason I bring this up is just because I look at these costs and I go, then why do so many people hate Call of Duty, but so many millions of people still go out and buy it and play it? I don't have the answers. I just wanted to bring up the fact that Call of Duty game budgets are now anywhere between $450 million across the entire lifespan to $700 million. And at even if they only sold 43 million copies or 30 million copies or 41 million copies, they're still banking in billions of dollars. Billions. That's it, man. Call of Duty is The Simpsons. Period. I'm a big fan of Borderlands. I have been for a long time. I don't know how many people actually know that, but I mean, I have very good memories about Borderlands. I also got some bad memories attached to Borderlands, but nonetheless, I've been a Borderlands fan for many, many, many years. I played the first Borderlands. I've played everything. I think I played every single Borderlands out there. Major releases, not including like the little Tina's Wonderland. Although I did play that Tina's Wonderland thing too, and that was okay. It just wasn't Borderlands. It was a fun little experiment, but then I quickly went back to Borderlands 3 and I had way more fun there. The reason I talk about this is Borderlands 4 is, according to the narrative director, Sam Winkler, I think that's how you say his name, he intends to tone down the overabundance of toilet humor in the next game. And I go, why? And I'm thinking to myself, that's kind of stupid. You do realize that Borderlands is not predicated, but Borderlands, like part of its identity is stupid, childish, toilet humor, meme humor, all this goofy shit. That's kind of what makes Borderlands partially Borderlands. If you remove that, what else do you got? Borderlands is like the South Park of video games. Not saying that South Park isn't the South Park of video games. They made games, but you know what I mean. It's crass, it's rude, it's stupid, it's hilarious, it's offensive, it has toilet humor, it goes blue all the time. I mean, that's what Borderlands is. Why would you take out such a piece of its DNA? I just don't get it. I don't fucking get it. I don't know why he would do this. I really don't. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's going to remove a lot of the fun that Borderlands players like myself, and maybe there's others out there who that's part of the reason that we play it. Because it's so ridiculous, because it's so lewd and ludicrous and crass, and it had no apologies. I mean, why would someone like me, who's a longtime fan of Borderlands, go into this next one? Unless it's a good game. As long as it's a good game, I'm pretty sure I'd play it. However, if you take out half of the reason that I play it because it's stupid and ridiculous and ludicrous and offensive and all these other things that I just talked about, it's not going to have a lot of long-term replayability for me. I mean, like, I played Borderlands 3 for years. Not just because of the toilet humor, also because it was a good game. It's just one of those things where I look at a post like this from the gaming industry and I go, why? Why would you do that? It just seems so counterintuitive. I mean, then I realize who's running this. I go, oh yeah, never mind. It's fucking Gearbox. Of course they're making stupid decisions. Jesus God. They make a great game and then they fuck it up with dumb stuff like this. Oh, good God. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like Borderlands 4 isn't going to sell. It's absolutely going to sell. It's fucking Borderlands. But Borderlands is going to be coming out on the PC, the PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series XS. And that's going to be in 2025, which it is now. So, yeah, be on the lookout for it. But obviously, I'm not happy about it. But you know what? It's one of those things where as long as it doesn't affect the overall core game, which it probably won't, it just means the story's going to be less interesting. And there I think about it. I go, well, if the story's less interesting, well, then why do I give a fuck? Oh, wait, never mind, because it's a looter shooter. Deep down, I know. As long as the looter shooter aspect of it is fun, it's engaging, as long as I get loot, I get to hit vaults and I get weapons and I have stupid enemies and I can pop in and out of co-op with randos and fucking kill things with them, I'm fine with that. I genuinely am. I'm kind of disappointed that Borderlands 4 is probably going to be a lot more sanitized than Borderlands 3 is going to be. And I'm going to miss that. I'll be the first one to tell you I'll miss it. in a situation like this, only time will truly tell the tale if Borderlands 4 is going to be as enjoyable as Borderlands 3. But right now, I'm not sure it will be. I think it's going to be lacking something. Because by the time you get to Borderlands 4 or 4 of any game series, there's a worry that it's going to be too heavy on one thing and not heavy enough on the other. Like, okay, the best way I can describe it is if Borderlands 4 is Borderlands 3 plus 1, it'll be cool. And what I mean by that is as long as you take the core mechanics of Borderlands 3, you don't change them too much, and you give players new enemies and new shit to fight, which you clearly do as the trailer shows, I think it'll be okay. I just worry about the jokes and all the goofy shit. The whole reason that I found Borderlands 3 so entertainable in previous Borderlands. It's just, oh my God. All right, fine, Gearbox, do what you must. Oh God, we'll see if it's any good. GameStop is in the news again, and it looks like that a lot more, I'm stupid. It looks like a lot more GameStop stores are going to be closing down, and that's not necessarily an official announcement. This came from the GameStop subreddit, so take that for what you will. I'm just talking about it because I'd like to bring up one thing about this. GameStop closing, or GameStop's closing down, and more stores are going out of business, does not surprise me. And the major reason, it's not even a criticism on GameStop. It's not. Although, you know, the quality of life thing and a bunch of other the controversies that they got into did make people kind of stay away from GameStop. What I'm talking about is this is 2025. We are in a day and age where people kind of don't want to go to game stores anymore. And don't get me wrong, I'm one of those people who would prefer to go to a GameStop. I would rather go into a GameStop because I had a local GameStop in my neighborhood where I lived, and I would go there on a regular basis. I would talk to the employees. I knew them by name. They knew me by name. They knew I did a podcast. They knew I did video game content, and they would recommend stuff to me. They would go, Jay, have you seen this game? And I would go, yeah, but it looks stupid. They go, no. Try it. Or they would go, yeah, it's stupid. Don't even fucking bother. I would have conversations with these people. I was able to talk to gamers. Don't get me wrong. I've talked to other people who worked at GameStop who were just an employee and it was just a job and they didn't give a shit about video games. And that is simply a reality of life. But we're in a world now where everything is being offered on Steam and Epic Games Store and Amazon.com and all these online retailers. So to see a brick and mortar store type business like a GameStop going out of business and more stores are going to be closing down in the future, it doesn't surprise me at all. It's just what's going to happen. I mean, if you look at it, GameStop announced back in March that it had closed 287 stores in the previous year. And then over a multitude of years, they've closed hundreds of other stores. I mean, like, I'm not saying GameStop's dead, but it's getting kind of dangerously close because GameStop even admitted in their earnings releases, their latest ones, that they dropped from a little over $1 billion in last year's third quarter to just $860 million in the same period this year. And it's not a good thing. Now, don't get me wrong. Their net income for the third quarter was $17.5 million, up from $3.1 million in a loss during the same period last year. However, I don't think that's enough. It's just like brick and mortar stores are going out of business day by day. Every day, they're getting affected, and more people are just going online. That's just the nature of it. I think what GameStop probably has to do is figure out a way to pivot and get gamers to either come back to the stores, which I don't see happening. I don't even think things like midnight releases or special events would even bring people back. I think GameStop just has to go the way of the internet and see if they can get, maybe, this would be the worst idea in the world, but maybe GameStop could make their own Steam clone or Epic Games Store clone. Maybe they could make their own retailer, their own online retailer. Now, I know they have a website and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, how else do they compete? It's not too late for GameStop. I just think they need to go more into the internet side of things because brick and mortar stores are rapidly dying out. You see far more businesses that were from my childhood and other people's childhoods that just have disappeared. I mean, look at Toys R Us, look at Blockbuster, look at Best Buy, look at Circuit City. I just named a shitload there, and I could name more, but I don't want to. It's just a reality. Radio Shack, oh my fucking God, where'd they go? Good fucking God, everybody's just closing up stores. It's the way of the internet, and I think that's real. It's not just me who thinks that. People clearly have answered with their wallets. That's the way forward. It's through storefronts like a Steam, like an Epic Game Store, even a good old games, GOG.com. It's a fucking awesome site. It's an awesome launcher. Why? Because you can get good old games. GameStop just has to find a way to brand themselves in a way where it makes them feel unique again, and it makes gamers stop and pay attention. I mean, dude, there's only so many pop Funko things people are going to buy. There's only so much gaming memorabilia people are going to buy. At the core of it, it's about video games and selling them. And I know there's trade-in and all that kind of shit at GameStop, but that hasn't been relevant in such a long time, especially because nowadays you go on Steam, you play a game, you don't like it, boom, refund, get your money back. As long as it's within the refund guidelines of how long you've played it, you can get your money back. So I mean, what's easier? What's easier for convenience sake? Getting it on Steam or Epic Game Store, and if you don't like it, you get your refund back instantly most of the time, or it takes a couple days, whatever, or getting in the car, driving to GameStop, getting a game, play it. Oh shit, I don't like it. Oh god damn it, the goddamn GameStop's closed because it's too late at night. You go back the next day. Oh, I can't go back the next day. I got to go to work, or it's my sister's funeral, or it's my brother's wedding. Oh, that was morbid and happy in the same sentence. But it's just one of those things. Life gets in the way. So it comes down to convenience. And unless GameStop finds a way to make themselves more convenient for gamers in a digital medium, I don't see them doing anything else but closing more stores, and they might go the way of Blockbuster. And that's kind of sad because, once again, I've been saying it on this podcast all throughout today. A lot of these companies I've grown up with, and it's sad to see them slowly dying. I just really don't know what they're going to do. It's kind of worrying. Makes me worry about the future a little bit. But we're talking about video games, and GameStop's got to figure it out. Because if they don't, one of the next one of the next articles I'm going to read is GameStop files for bankruptcy. It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't want that to happen. I think having a physical video game store is a good thing. I mean, dude, physical copies are such an important thing as far as gaming history is concerned. There are tons of games that we will never play again simply because of the fact that were released on digital formats and in a digital way, and they got the plug pulled, and then they just disappeared. They just poof, go into the fucking ether. Without a GameStop, without these small, privately owned video game retailers, we're going to lose out on a lot of these things. And with the end of GameStop and all these other private retailers and such comes the end of physical copies, and I don't want to see that. I'm not saying they're mutually exclusive to one another. It's just, it's showing the decline of what's happening with video games. And I don't want that to happen. I want video games to be preserved. I want people in 20, 30 years to go understand how fucking dope the GameCube was. I want people to understand how awesome the Dreamcast was. But I'm worried that that stuff is only going to be relegated to a YouTube video. And there's going to be people years from now who are never even going to be able to find something like a GameCube or an N64 or a Sega Saturn. Oh, I don't even know why I put Sega Saturn in there, but you know what I mean. It's baffling. Good luck, GameStop. My heart goes out to you, but I don't think you're going to make it. I am kind of worried that this place is going to go the way of Blockbuster. Oh boy. Minecraft creator Notch is basically announcing Minecraft 2, according to him. And oh God, this type of shit gives me a fucking headache. Why? Notch, don't make Minecraft 2. He's going to. He inevitably is going to. But okay, look, there was a poll that was posted on social media. I think it was X. And it gave fans two options to what game Notch is going to work on next. A traditional roguelike, which please don't make another roguelike. I fucking hate them for the life of me, but I know other people like them, so whatever. And it was going to be either a traditional roguelike in the vein of Atom or NetHack, or a spiritual successor thing to Minecraft. And of course, everybody wanted to see Minecraft 2. Oh God, why? Why? You know what? I know why. It's because people see Minecraft, they go, ooh, Minecraft 2 will be better. That's not always the case. Even Notch himself said, after announcing Minecraft 2 in the poll, he even said that spiritual successes are usually kind of tragic. And he went on to continue to say and comment, why not do the thing that people do want and are willing to give me, somehow even more cash for? Yeah, exactly. You feel me? Like, it's just one of those things where, okay, Minecraft, Mojang, however you call it, was purchased by Microsoft in 2014. And then Notch distanced himself from that company. Now Microsoft owns Minecraft, not Notch. Let's just be clear about that. Notch is the original creator. He sold it to Microsoft in 2014. Everybody knows that. And the people who don't, well, you know it now. Making Minecraft 2 is not a great idea. It just really isn't. Because it's going to be one of those situations where Minecraft 2 is going to be the Payday 3 of this is what's going to happen. Minecraft 1 is going to be Payday 2 in this comparison, okay? I'm comparing it to Starbreeze and Overkill Studios. Minecraft 1 is going to be Payday 2. Minecraft 2 is going to be Payday 3. It's going to be chock full of shit that no one's going to like, that everybody's going to most likely hate, and everybody's going to get... It's new Coke. That's exactly what it is. It's new fucking Coke. Everybody's going to try it. They're going to hate it. And then they're going to go back to the OG Minecraft. And then Notch is going to throw his hands up in the air and go, Jesus Christ, I wasted 4 years. Like, or however long it takes them to fucking develop it. And we don't even know if Notch is the same guy anymore. Clearly he's not. He's a goddamn millionaire now. So, I mean, the dude who made the first Minecraft is not the same guy who's going to make quote-unquote Minecraft 2. And if he does, how do we know it's going to be any good? I'm not saying he's not capable of it. I'm just simply suggesting it's hard to get up and want to develop your ass off and have these types of goals like a Minecraft 1, and now you're making Minecraft 2 when you're waking up in silk sheets. I'm not saying he has silk sheets, but he might have some Egyptian thread counts going on in his bed chambers. Who knows? I just don't have a lot of faith in a Minecraft 2. Why should any gamer have a lot of faith in Minecraft 2? Notch doesn't even really want to make it. Let's be real. That poll that went up, we know what he wanted people to vote for. He wanted the people to vote for his rogue-like project. That's exactly what he wanted. But this is the internet, and this is gamers. They want Minecraft 2. And here's what's going to happen. Unfortunately, I see Minecraft 2 coming out in the future, and if it makes money, it probably will. Realistically, it's Minecraft, so of course it's going to make money, but critical reception is going to go not the way other people might be thinking about this or talking about this. I think everybody's going to go, fuck Minecraft 2, it's new Coke, let's go back to the first Minecraft and have fun, which is the worrying part. I mean, Jesus Christ. Minecraft is... what was it, 2023, Minecraft had 300 million sales. There's IRL, real-life attractions. It has an animated series on Netflix, and it has an upcoming live-action movie starring Jack Black, which is just video game franchise Viagra, even though gamers are pissy about it because, half of it isn't animated, and part of it, half of it isn't, none of it's animated, and we want it to be animated and done in CGI. Look, I get that, but it's not going to change the fucking fact that everybody who has a YouTube channel who covers video game content is most likely going to go watch it. They're going to put their money down, and they're going to watch the goddamn shit, even if it's just to complain about it. Look, I'm going to talk about the Minecraft movie for a second. The only way to affect the Minecraft movie is to not go watch it. Just don't watch it. Answer with your wallet. If you don't answer with your wallet, then Hollywood is going to keep making this bullshit. Stop it. Fucking stop it. Stop shooting yourselves in the goddamn foot. If you don't want to see, if you have complaints about the Minecraft movie, I better not see any of you goddamn cocksuckers fucking release anything about it. Unless it's you stating that you're not going to watch it and not financially support it. If you stream it from a alternative source, then I can't say anything about it. Because at that point, you made your own decision. You didn't pay for it. Not my problem. Not my business. I'm not encouraging anything. No, I'm not. I'm just saying there's a army mateys. I think we gonna go a piratey brew when we watch the Minecraft movie. We do. Look, Minecraft 2, it's probably gonna get made. Will it make money? Most likely. But will it be good? Probably not. If Notch doesn't feel enthusiastic about it, then I have zero reason to feel enthusiastic about Minecraft 2. We were just talking about video game movies, so I want to segue into a fourth Sonic the Hedgehog movie is already apparently in the works for 2027. And a new report from Paramount Pictures is already working on the fourth Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and it's going to release in 2027. Oh my fucking God. I mean, it's a cash cow. Let's be real. I've seen the first Sonic movie, and in my Discord, on the 50 Shades of Jade Discord, links in the description below, I will be watching the first, the second, and the third movie on the 26th of January. So if you want to come by and have some fun and watch those movies with me, happy to have you. Love you too, buddy. Or girl, whoever you are. It's just one of those things where I don't know too much about Sonic outside the Sega games that I grew up with, and I auditioned for a role as Shadow the Hedgehog before. Not for the official property, just like fan stuff. And I know a little bit about Sonic, and a lot of I don't know too much about the game lore. I know there's Chaos Emeralds and Super Sonic. Just like, I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like Super Sonic is just Dragon Ball Z, and that's whatever. I'm not that big of a stickler on game lore and all that kind of stuff. I just kind of, maybe to my detriment, I kind of just accept things at face value and let them go on, unless I really don't like something, or maybe I like something and I overanalyze it. I don't really know. I got to figure that out about myself. If I actually give a fuck about game lore, if I don't. Part of me knows I don't, but then part of me does when I'm really interested in a property. And I think that's kind of everybody. They don't really care unless they're really into it. But Sonic the Hedgehog 3 made an estimate of $55 to $60 million in its opening weekend. So it makes no surprise that Sonic the Hedgehog 4 is absolutely going to come out. Like, zero surprise here. However, I can't speak on the quality of Sonic 2 or Sonic 3. The first Sonic was good. I enjoyed it. I really did. I don't know about the second or the third one. I don't remember anything about it. Haven't seen the third one, obviously. I don't remember anything of the second. I just remember that the same characters are in there, and Jim Carrey's funny. I mean, realistically, if I'm being completely transparent here, I'm watching this movie for Jim Carrey. I really am. I mean, I've been a big Jim Carrey. Oh my God, here I say it again. I'm like a broken fucking record. Oh, roll a joint every time I say something, every time I repeat myself on something like this. When I say I've grown up with it, anytime I say I've grown up with it, take a hit. Like, Jesus God. Get some pine cones in your system, goofballs. But I'm in it for Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is an actor I've grown up with, take a hit. And I've always enjoyed his work. I really have. I think he's a once-in-a-lifetime comedian, a once-in-a-lifetime actor. I even like his dramatic roles, and people can judge me for that. I don't care. I like the guy's work. I think he's a good actor. I mean, the guy's taught me about acting just by watching his work. I mean, there's been times where I've had to channel my own inner Jim Carrey just in auditions because I thought his approach on something was something I wanted to implement in my own acting. Yeah, it's just one of those deals. But with the Sonic the Hedgehog 4 movie coming out, it makes no surprise. Sonic is a cash cow. It's one of the few video game properties that really has had a good run turning itself into a movie. I mean, the last one was, I think, a friend of the show, friend of the Church of Sus, church member, dojo member. You didn't hear that. You did not hear that. JT, Lore Master Johnny Trogs, was talking about how the Super Mario Brothers movie, the animated one, the total CGI one, was good. And I took one look at it. I watched the trailer on one of the live streams I was doing, and I went, yes, it looks good. It looks exactly like I figured a Mario Brothers movie should look. It looked like fucking Mario Brothers. It was dope. But as far as Sonic, they're doing good, man. They really are. And Paramount is racking in a fuckload of money. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, there was another press release that got released very recently, and it was stating that the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, all three of them, have made over $1 billion at the box office, and that comes at no surprise. Everybody I know, even people who aren't hardcore gamers, are talking about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It's just fucking insane on how well this has done. So, I mean, we could have a Sonic 4. If things go well with Sonic 4, we could have a Sonic 5. Okay? Look, if Hollywood's going to continually make money off it, they're going to keep making them. So, I mean, hey, Sonic fans, you're getting exactly what you want. And I really hope that all you lore whores and hardcore super diehard fans are getting the film that you want. Because I'm not a super hardcore fan of this stuff. I just like Sonic and I know about it. Sonic to me is like a relative that I kind of like, that's just been in my life for so long, I kind of can't ignore them. That's pretty much what Sonic is to me. So I'm absolutely going to check it out because I want to give it a chance. I really do. I want to see if, for me, it's interesting because I go, and this is a personal thing, I just want to see if, for me, can Sonic as a game property be translated onto the box office screen in a way that I fucking like. I'm not really worried about other people. I'm worried about what I like. And I go, maybe. I'll let you guys know after the 26th when I finish that movie night with everybody in my 50 Shades of J Discord. The Church of Sus, baby. And that kind of wraps up everything I was talking about in This Week in Gaming. And it really wasn't a week in gaming. This is more toward parts of December into January. And by the time this episode goes up, more gaming news will be available, and I'll be talking about that as well. Something I wanted to move away from with the gaming news and all that kind of stuff is I'm very active in fitness and health and all that kind of stuff, and I really wanted to talk about this for 1 second. And what I'm talking about specifically is the dangers of performance-enhancing drugs in younger people. And it's just not just young people, it's just all people. Performance-enhancing drugs are dangerous as fuck. And the reason I wanted to specifically start talking about the dangers of it for young people is because we live in a world of social media and Instagram and the ideal aesthetic visually for men and women, but I'm talking about men here, is very slanted. Nowadays, steroids and all those types of performance-enhancing drugs, they really were only available in hushed whispers in a locker room. And now we're at a point in the world where, because of social media, you have people who are teenagers, men in their young 20s, who are using these things. And worse off, you have people out there who are teaching young people how to use these substances. And I just got to point out, for any young men who might be listening to this, don't do it. Do not do that to your body. It is far better. Look, there's nothing wrong with being natural. I've been natural my entire life. I've never touched a steroid. I've never injected anything, nor will I ever. And look, I'm almost 40. And I'm in better shape now than I was when I was 18, 19 years old, and when I was competing in mixed martial arts and taekwondo and tournaments and stuff like that. It's just one of those things where I think we live in a world now where today people are more interested in the result than the journey. There's something my personal trainer and I talk about a lot. It's called delayed gratification. And delayed gratification is something that is very lost in the society we live in today, and it's important. when everything is instant gratification, Netflix, TikTok, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Instagram, any social media platform you could really name, it sets a dangerous precedent. The level of patience and expectation that people have is diminished, and people want everything now. And I really do believe it's a big cause on why younger men are starting to use performance enhancing drugs at a young age. I mean, even something like testosterone replacement therapy or TRT, that's for men in their late 40s who have declining testosterone. And it's still performance enhancing because the second you stop using it, from what I've researched and talked to people about, you deflate. I mean, Jesus Christ, if you follow MMA at all, look at Vitor Belfort. Look at TRT Belfort. When he was when he was just juiced to the gills, he looked like a man 20 years younger than he actually was. And we saw what happened to him when he stopped using those drugs. He deflated and he performed less than he could have. I mean, it's just a reality of life. And growing older, growing slower, it's just part of existence. It's something you have to deal with. But if you are young, I'm going to advise that you don't take these drugs, man. It's going to fuck up your life. It's going to fuck up your body chemistry. It's going to give you acne. It's going to give you mental issues. I mean, dude, this is a very real thing. And I don't think a lot of people actually take the time to sit down and think about this before they start pumping chemicals into their body. And I don't want that for young people. I don't want young guys, teenagers, young adults thinking that's the way forward, okay? Aesthetic bodybuilding is fine. It is. It's whatever. But you don't have to look a certain way to be deemed attractive. It's just one of those things. It's not true. I mean, look, I'm never going to look like Hulk fucking Hogan or one of these pro wrestlers out there who are just dosing their bodies with shit. But I also don't care because I'm in shape, and I'm using myself as an example because I'm someone who doesn't take steroids and I'm very against them. Because if you take steroids, you're risking your life because you're risking your organs swelling up, you're risking your blood getting thicker, and you're shortening your lifespan. I know if you're young, it feels like you're kind of invincible and the years on the clock you have more of. But if you actually want to have those years on the clock, you can't do stuff like this. And a big root of it, I've always believed, is the comparison. We live in a world today where everybody is seeing, on Instagram specifically and places like that, you see people who are amazing with their genetics. They also do the hard work. I'm not suggesting that they don't. Of course they do. You don't look like that. You don't look ripped with a six-pack and have huge muscles and all this kind of stuff if you're not putting in the work. You absolutely are. But a lot of these people who look at this stuff and want to emulate that, and there's nothing wrong with that, but what they're not thinking about is that their genetics might be different. They might have average genetics or they might have shitty genetics, and it's about what you eat. It's about nutrition. It's about how much water you drink, how much salt you take in, how much carbohydrates you take in, how much protein you ingest. Like, there's so many factors. And it's worrying that there's a lot of young people out there who are taking these things because it's fucking them up. That's all it's doing. It's not good for people. It's not good for young men. And I really advise any young person who's out there, who's working out and they want to look better, is just have a little more patience. It'll come in time. Phrasing. It'll happen in time. All you have to do is keep eating, keep lifting, and stay consistent. That's really the ticket. I mean, look, there's no magical solution for this. There's no fast way to get these types of gains because 2025 is the year of gains. I've talked about it before. I'll say it right here. It's not the way. You're shortening your lifespan, and you could potentially ruin your life. And is it really that worth it just to look a certain way, to look aesthetically pleasing to yourself for 3 years before you have to cycle off and you just deflate? No, it's not. If you're in an occupation where it requires you to take performance-enhancing drugs like a professional bodybuilder who's racking in money and it's their job. That's different. That's a completely different situation because it's a choice, obviously, and two, that's their job. That's the decision they decided to make, and they're willing to take that risk. And a lot of those guys, all of them actually, they go to a doctor and they get their bloods taken and blood drawn, and they get things medically cleared to a point to where they're aware of the risks that they're taking. And there's a lot of young men out there who just aren't doing that. They're not. What they're doing is they're going on Instagram, they're seeing somebody who's swole, they'll scroll through, and then they'll see somebody who goes, oh yeah, hey, look, check this out, man. This is how you do this cycle, or you should try this dose of chemicals or whatever. And it's not a good idea. Young guys should not be pumping their bodies full of research grade chemicals. It's not a good idea. Nothing about that sounds like a good idea. And all it's going to do is it's going to fuck them up, and it's going to fuck their future up. And I do not want that. So I'm going to cut it there. But I just got to warn everybody, especially people who are into fitness, they're into the gym and they care about their health. If you really care about your health, don't do steroids. Stay natural and stay smart. Don't be a dummy. Speaking of research grade chemicals, there's another chemical that I want to warn a lot of younger guys about ingesting. And I see it on so many podcasts, some of your own favorite podcasts and YouTubers use this sponsor. And it's called Blue Chew. Blue Chew is Viagra and Cialis and basically steroids for your dick. And no, don't do that. You're going to fuck up your reproductive system. It's going to completely affect the way that guys get erections. Don't do it. It's bad for you. Blue Chew, Cialis, Viagra. These aren't the types of medications that young men should be taking. Guys, let's be real. If you're in your 20s or you're a teenager, or even if you're in your 30s or whatever, you ought to be able to get Rocky. You ought to be able to get Rocky Balboa without any assistance. If you genuinely need that assistance, then it's time you do what? Don't go get Blue Chew. Go to a doctor. It is the worst idea to start fucking with your body chemistry without seeking professional help. That's why it's called professional help. Don't listen to your friends. Don't listen to podcasters. Definitely don't listen to influencers, fitness influencers, any of these people, because they're all fucking lying to you. They're all lying to you. None of them care about you. Their whole goal is to make money. The reason I'm talking about this is because I may not be on the internet very much, but I don't know if there is anybody else talking about this, warning people of something dangerous like Blue Chew. If you're in your 60s and you want to walk up to the old lady and go, "Hey baby, you want to pop in a movie and have some fun?" That's different. All right, that's actually kind of adorable in a gross way. Ugh, ick. But look, if you're a young guy, don't take Blue Chew. Don't listen to these fucking podcasters. Don't listen to these goddamn sponsors. It's bad for your body, and it will absolutely affect the way you get erections and your sexual reproductive system in the future. You don't want to do that to yourself. The last thing you want to do as a young guy, take Blue Chew, have a rock hard, steely cock, and then as you get older, you find out, oh God, because I took all those drugs, I fucked my body up permanently. You don't want to do that. Your future is more important than what's happening right now. This is what I was talking about earlier with people are so overly concerned with now, the instant gratification, delayed gratification comes back into mind. I'm not saying that you got to delay gratification when it comes to fucking somebody. No, if you're going to fuck somebody, go fuck the shit out of them. But you don't need enhancement. If you need enhancement to bang the shit out of your girl, there's probably a problem there that Blue Chew is not going to solve. We've been talking about a lot of things today. We've been talking about Blue Chew. We've been talking about the dangers of performance-enhancing drugs on young people. We have been discussing video game news and all these types of things. And I want to shuffle over back to the area of video games just for a moment because I've been thinking about this a lot, and it really came from a lot of my Twitch streams that I used to do live with my audience in the 50 Shades of J Discord. Links in the description below. And it comes down to video game movies. Now, I was watching the Minecraft trailer with on Twitch, and there was a whole uproar with gamers being really pissed off that the Minecraft movie was not just that it was live action, it was that when they went to the Minecraft world, it remained live action and didn't sway into the CGI animation style. Look, I get that. I do. I kind of don't get it, but I also understand why gamers would be kind of pissed off. But at the same token, if you really have that big of a problem with it, don't watch the movie. Do not buy a ticket, even if it's just to shit on it. Don't buy it to hate watch, because if you spend your money, what is Hollywood going to take that as? People like it, so that means we're going to make more. Don't do that. Don't do something that incredibly stupid and then get further angry when the movie companies decide to make another Minecraft movie or another video game movie that's taking your properties that you love so dearly and bastardizing them in ways that you don't like. Just answer with your wallet. That's the smartest thing you can do. But the reason I'm talking about this, it's not about the Minecraft movie, even though I kind of went on to a little rant about it. What I'm talking about is something I've been thinking about. Ever since that happened, and I was talking about the Minecraft movie, I thought about, well, you know what? If Minecraft is such a shitty concept for a video game movie, what would be the best video game movies? And I couldn't think of a better time to start a segment called The Best Video Game Movies. And I'm going to start this off with Mortal Kombat. Now, that may sound like a weird... I'm not talking about Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Oh, dear God, fucking no. No. I'm talking about Mortal Kombat because Mortal Kombat was an amazing video game movie, at least from my perspective. Mortal Kombat has really confusing history and lore, and there's so much going on in that goddamn game. It's absolute bananas. That's exactly what it is. It's confusing as fuck. But when I saw Mortal Kombat as an adult, as a kid, because I'm old, so I saw it when it first came out, even though I wasn't supposed to because I was young, whatever. I loved it. I loved everything about it. And as I go back and I watch it as an adult, I go, it's still a good movie. It really is. I mean, you had Robin Shou, you had Christopher Lambert, you had Bridget Wilson, you had all these, you had everybody. You had everybody you want. You had Sub-Zero and Scorpion. And yeah, I kind of didn't like the fact that Sub-Zero and Scorpion were under Shang Tsung's control or whatever, but that's okay. I still loved the fight scenes. I loved the story for what it was, because realistically, Mortal Kombat has so much story that goes in so many different directions. It would be kind of hard to nail it down to one singular film. So I'm really glad that the way they went for it was the classic tournament. And Robin Shou is Liu Kang, and he has to avenge his brother's death. That is the most Hong Kong, old school Chinese martial art flick. It's one of the stories that are tried and true. It's just, somebody seeking vengeance for their fallen family member. Yeah, it's cut and dry. And then you got this crazy tournament, and then you have Shang Tsung, who's a sorcerer. You had the fucking Goro puppet. I mean, it's everything you would want in a video game movie. It has all the identifiable things that you liked about the game, but they managed to cobble a story together that I'm not saying it was fantastic. It's just something that you accept. You accept it, and you allow it to be what it was meant for. A great showpiece for amazing martial arts, because you had a lot of amazing stunt work, a lot of great choreography, and a lot of great fight scenes. I think my favorite fight scene in that one was two of them. It was the fight scene between Johnny Cage and Scorpion, where they were in the forest, and it was kind of cool. If you go back and you watch the movie, Johnny Cage is walking through the forest, and then Scorpion cartwheels in the frame. It's so stupid. It's so stupid, but it's awesome. It really is, because just for out of nowhere, Scorpion, and he cartwheels in the frame, and then he throws a spear at him, and like, all right, fine, I'm in. You got me, movie. I'm down. And then you had the fight between, I'm kind of at a tie right now, between Reptile and Liu Kang, or Sub-Zero versus Liu Kang, because that was a really great scene. I'm talking about Sub-Zero versus Liu Kang. You had Liu Kang and Sub-Zero meet each other face to face. And Liu Kang shows up in the little area that they were in, and the door opens. I think a door opens. I could be mistaken. But I remember Sub-Zero descending the staircase, and then he walks over to the other side, opposite Liu Kang. And then they turn and they face each other, and then they square up, and then they fight. It was badass. I loved it. I thought it was great. I loved the choreography in that fight scene. I think there was a kind of a plotty thing going on where Katana was telling him, basically giving Liu Kang a hint on how to defeat Sub-Zero with, use water. Water is the essence of life. And then Liu Kang sees water and he throws it. And then it creates a big icicle, and it impales Sub-Zero, which I also thought was fucking cool because Sub-Zero gets impaled by this giant icicle. The stunt actor did a great job because his eyes widen like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And then he fucking gets impaled, and he flies over to the back. He gets stuck to the wall, and then he freezes to death. I'm just, all right, that's fucking cool. That's really cool. It was dope. And see, this is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean. It's entertaining. This is one of the reasons why I think Mortal Kombat is one of the best video game movies of all time, because they did successfully what so many video game movies failed to do today. They took the source material and interpreted it in a way that was suitable for not only producers and production companies and the movie studios and the millions of dollars that go into the production, but they also made it suitable and acceptable for the fans to come in, sit down at the theater, and genuinely be entertained. And that's something, and one of the major reasons why I'm going to say Mortal Kombat is one of the best video game movies ever made. Now, I'm going to be doing this segment a lot. This is a regular thing until I run out of video game movies to talk about. And next week, I talked about the best video game movies, so next week I'm going to be talking about the worst video game movies, so everybody has that to look forward to as well. Now, it's no surprise that I own a very low-end laptop, and this thing is basically a proverbial potato. It just is. It can't run anything. It can't run AAA games barely. It can't, not even barely. It just can't. It's a potato laptop. It's terrible. It's not made for gaming. So I was thinking about this, and I'm going, you know what? What games can it run? What games can a potato laptop run? And I decided to come up with this idea, this segment called Gaming for Potato PCs, because in reality, there are far more people in the world that have shitty laptops and computers like mine than the opposite, which is high-end gaming rigs. I mean, let's be honest, everybody. Video games are an expensive luxury hobby, and most people, especially with times being so rough, don't have access to those types of things. I mean, a lot of people aren't that lucky. So I decided to do a little research and download and purchase a bunch of these games that I feel are worth talking about, that you could play on a low-end laptop or a low-end PC. And the one game I want to talk about today, because I was playing it on my Twitch stream, is Death Road to Canada. Death Road to Canada is a low-end pixel art style zombie game. It's basically the Oregon Trail, if anybody remembers that. You probably don't, but if you do, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Oh my God, I can't even tell you how many hours I wasted in school when I was supposed to be doing work playing the Oregon Trail. And now that I'm thinking about it, why the hell did my teachers or the school allow Oregon Trail to be in the computer lab if they wanted everybody to focus on classwork? Why would you give kids a video game, on the same computer that you're trying to have them do schoolwork on? Never mind. I'm not going to go into the inner thought process of my elementary school right here, right now. I couldn't tell you anyway. Besides, I have a fun story about that. My principal was doing something very, very bad with the Spanish teacher. That's a true story. And oh my God, one day, if you remind me, I'll get into it. But this is about gaming for potato PCs. And Death Road to Canada is awesome. It's a pixel art style game, and it plays like the Oregon Trail. So you have the ability to customize your own characters and give them names and change their appearance and give them stats and characteristics. And then you can make your friends or make people you don't like or just make anybody. You can make a ton of custom characters and put them into the game. They have separate game modes for it, and it's very replayable. And that's the thing about it. It's a very replayable game, and not to mention challenging. It was one of those things where Death Road to Canada, I would always find myself in this situation to where, because you have to get food, you have to get gas, you have to get bullets, and you have to get medical supplies to keep your team alive or to keep you alive. It depends on how many people you allow into your party. And since I was playing live on my Twitch stream, I made a bunch of my Twitch viewers, and of course, I'm going to bring in the Twitch viewers. But I mean, hilarious shit happens, crazy shit happens, betrayal happens, drama occurs in Death Road to Canada. And this is why I'm talking about it. For a game that, graphically speaking, looks like a pixel game. It's incredibly entertaining. The gameplay is smooth, the gameplay is clean, and I'm using a piece of crap potato top. Trust me, this thing is, I think it's about 12 years old now, minimum, at least 10 to 12 years old, so that ought to tell you how old this goddamn thing is. And this laptop can run Death Road to Canada perfectly. I was even able to stream on it, which tells you how the minimum requirements to run this game are so low. Now, I don't have them with me because I'm recording right now, but you know what? It's one of those things where I highly recommend people who do have a lower end PC and they do want a zombie game that has a lot of replayability and is a lot of fun, because it's really entertaining to go through and scavenge for bullets or scavenge these areas for food or just the encounters that happens. And sometimes you get caught in a situation where you have to survive for a certain amount of time up until you can access an escape. And it's really tense because it starts out easy, but the longer you play, the more difficult it gets. And you got this other thing called Zombo points, and you get to unlock those throughout playing the game. And what those do is they unlock different skills, different stats, different perks, and it encourages more replayability because, honestly, the gameplay cycle, as people like to call it, is thoroughly enjoyable. And it's a great contender to be added on this first edition of Gaming for Potato PCs. And I highly encourage it. I recommend that game. Go play it, have some fun, kill some time. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here, but thank you very much for tuning in to Phrasing with Jay, and I will see you next Monday. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, the Phrasing with Jay YouTube channel, go hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and you will also be able to find Phrasing with Jay on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, all places where podcasts live on major distribution platforms. And that comes big thanks from Sighted TV and Lloyd Osborne. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it for helping me produce this podcast for everybody to listen to. And have a good day. Keep gaming, stay healthy, don't eat Blue Chew, and don't take steroids. Don't be stupid.